as a victim of abuse myself, as people I know who are abused, if it was that bad, I really don't think it should have been on TV.
Whoa. We can't say it wasn't that bad.
I know it's that bad.
We can't say it
Victor,
wasn't that bad.
As soon as I say something, it gets flipped on me. Because and it's I'm attacking Melody, and this is an example of it, because I feel like people go so hard for Melody, they put blinders on, so that when people are just critiquing her a little bit, it becomes this big thing, and I'm like, girl, I don't even hate her, but you guys make me hate her.
Why? It's because of what Victor just said.
Hey, it's a brotherhood. Woohoo!
Okay, bros, are you ready?
Yes, I was born ready.
Daddy Cohen said, let's go.
All right, let's go. Okay. Hey everyone, it's your bro, Mitch Kimbro. I am here with the bros of Bro Chat. Now, bros, during the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion, Miss Nell and Miss Nell and Melody had a bit of back and forth about the word mentorship. Now, Miss Nell is reminding Melody of the times that she mentored Melody. While Miss Nell was sharing this, Melody laughed.
I have mentored you in the past. What you mentor me in? What you know what? Okay, Miss Nell. Yes, it was majority Martell, but it was both of you. And I put in that time, in those hours, in countless nights, into the wee hours of the morning. And I didn't take that lightly.
Damien, do you think that Melody laughing at what Miss Nell was saying, do you think it was disrespectful? Or do you think that Miss Nell is misinterpreting this whole relationship?
No, I think it was disrespectful, and I only think it validates what Destiny and a lot of others have said when it comes to Melody and being condescending. This is one of the things that I'm talking about right here. This woman, first of all, in the past, this woman has, whether you want to use mentor, give advice, be a friend, whatever. She was there for Melody during a really difficult time when all that was going on with her and Martell. So for her to go, aha, and spin around and do all the theatrics, that's very condescending. And especially if I see my friend who is saying, hey, this is how I feel from what you said, why would you make a remark like that? All she had to do was say, no, I don't feel like you were my mentor. You didn't have to go, So yeah, I didn't agree with it. I felt like it was disrespectful. So yeah.
Eric?
I'm kind of in the middle. I think for me personally, having gone through losing a parent like that, I'm a little more sensitive to it, maybe. I'm like, that's something you shouldn't laugh at regardless whether we're messing with each other or not. But I think that Melody went into this reunion almost without emotions. And I think she went into it with a callousness about her that I haven't seen in other reunions. She's less open. She's more pointed in what she's saying and more, I don't know. That's how I saw it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think Melody's justified to be checked out. She has a lot coming at her as an avalanche in her direction. From Destiny pulling out my perception of this, grooming this, Martell, like it is a lot coming at her in this direction. And Melody, a lot of times, no one has her back. So when you're on this island all by yourself and you're meant to defend yourself, of course you're gonna just check out instead of engaging in it. Because I think that Melody's over it.
But that was before the reunion, though. She did this in a scene during the season.
Can we talk about that scene for a second? Because I have some thoughts on that scene. So on that scene, and context-wise, Melody has recently confirmed on an Instagram Live that Nell, she was never calling Nell on the phone late at night. They never called them around to their house for counseling sessions. It was hey, do you want to come over for a barbecue, playing cards, and they were hanging out, and then sometimes it went into that, but she was never calling her personally for that. And she's saying, I have a therapist, I have a mother, and those are the people that I speak to about it. In that scene specifically, and I'm not saying Miss Nell, because we've seen clearly in the show that Nell has offered support, but I don't think offering support to a friend is mentorship. I wouldn't say I mentor any of my friends, even though I may give advice. And I think the reason that Melody was so annoyed in that scene and she laughed the way that she did is because she was confronting Nell, because again, Nell is someone who was involved in the situation, and now knowing Melody's the victim of abuse, went and sat on an interview which Melody pulled out, and she said, you guys are both as she said Melody and Martell are equally as draining as each other, and sometimes I just have to stop speaking to them because they get so tiring and stuff like that.
It gets draining.
Draining? Who draining you?
It does. I get mad at both of them.
I like that about you. You hold both of them accountable. You don't favor either.
I get mad at both of them, and I won't talk. I get mad. I won't talk to them.
You get mad you won't talk to him?
She's hard-headed too. She's just as hard-headed as he is, unfortunately. Stubborn.
Look at all these things you're saying about a friend. I think you've been through more with Martell than you've been through with me. I don't call you a lot.
That too.
I don't bother.
Putting the same responsibility on her as Martell, saying they're equally draining, Miss Nell saying that, I think it's insensitive to the abuse. And
I understand where you're coming from, but it's one of those things where it's everybody in the cast is saying the exact same thing. There has to be some truth to it. The one thing we do hear, the one thing that we do hear. Well, I'm telling you,
everybody's just delusional then.
On the show.
This is what I'm saying.
Let Eric finish his point.
You didn't let me finish to be able to rebuttal. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't. If everybody is saying both of you are incredibly draining to talk to about this situation, how can there not be any truth to that? I do agree with you that you shouldn't put blame on a victim, but I think that their mess is so convoluted that it's not as black and white as everybody's trying to say. I think that's the difference. I think there is a little bit of gray area. To be honest with you, I'm exhausted as an audience member dealing with their trauma and their drama. I don't care enough about it anymore. I wish they would move on to another topic. We have been talking about Martell and Melody since season 1. Back and forth constantly over and it's draining. Are y'all not exhausted? I'm exhausted.
Can I say something else though? Just to double back to what Victor was mentioning when it comes to whether or not Nell counseled Martell and Melody. And the reason why I'm so adamant about this is because I feel like I remember hearing the word mentor a lot in the past working on the show. But if you go back to season 4 or 5, I think it was 4 or 5, there's a scene. It's before Nell and Chris joined the show, okay? And they had joined the show, but they were like part-time. They weren't full-time. They weren't in the intro. And Martell and Melody go over to the Fletchers, who aren't on the show yet. In the confessional, they say something along the lines of, we're going over to the Fletchers today because in the past, they've counseled us.
I'm not appreciating this sneaky intervention, but Chris and Nell have counseled us many times, so I do respect them enough to at least listen to what they have to say.
They've mentored us on our marriage because Chris Fletcher cheated on Nell in the past. So they would go over and get advice from them and do this counselship, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I'm sort of like, why is Mel acting so brand new with it like it didn't happen? It makes me think, did something happen with their friendship when Nell joined the show? Has she changed or something to where Melody's now like, you know what, I don't want to claim anything with you? Because like you guys said, she was very pointed at everybody and guarded, and it did seem like, she was a little bit of a target too.
Right. Well, I think she's guarded because I don't think people have her back. And knowing that cast members knew about the revenge porn and were acting brand new about it at the start of season 8, but they knew about it. And then you were even having Marceau saying, well, we don't know both sides, when he knew damn well that he saw the footage. I think that's why she was so defensive. And to go back with what you were saying, Nell admitted in that very scene that she spent a lot more time with Martel on the phone, a lot more time with him. She admitted that she spent more time with him, and she should have said that he was more draining. So she's admitted that. She knows that
You're
she
telling
spent
her
more
how
time.
she feels. She
No, but
might
she
have felt
admitted
they
that.
were both, but yeah, she might have talked to him more, but she said she felt that they were both draining. Do you know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
can't say that she should have
No, she said equally.
Martel did
She
it.
said they're both as
I
hard-headed as
know.
each other. And she
You
said she
don't
was
think that
wrong for...
though? I think that's kind of true. I think that they're both
but
kind of
I don't
hard-headed
think that's
people.
true. I don't think that's true. And she admitted it was wrong when
Melody
Melody
looks like
confronted
a
her.
hard-headed person.
She admitted that she was
In what way do you think she's hard-headed? Like,
She's just I don't like to use the word hard-headed because I'm not trying to disrespect her. I just mean that she's a very
Stubborn.
confident, stubborn, and she's an unwavering person. That's a better term. I feel like she's a very unwavering person. Yes. I believe she's a very unwavering. Yeah.
okay.
I think you get that guard when you are someone who's been the victim of abuse, when you are told you're not good enough for me all the time. When this stuff happens, I think you are guarded. But to go back to what I was saying, Nell knows that she spends a lot more time with Martel, that he's a lot more draining, and she put the narrative that they both bother her equally as much, which wasn't true. They're both equally as draining, and she apologized because she said it was wrong. And I think it was right for Melody to laugh at the word mentorship? No, but I don't think that Miss Nell mentored Melody, and I think she may have mentored Martel, and I think based off what Miss Nell admitted that she did to Melody publicly and said about her that was wrong, Melody was justified for having some type of reaction that was a bit hostile.
Yeah. And also, Miss Nell did apologize to Melody for what she said in that interview because, like Victor said it was wrong. But also, Miss Nell reflected that it actually turned out to not have been true. Actually, she did some deep reflection and talked with Melody directly in that scene because Melody has acknowledged that Miss Nell has been a friend. She has been a friend to me. Melody has been very clear about that. But there's this word mentorship that I think it's being lost. I think that's where the disconnect is.
Yeah, I think it's the word.
It's a semantics game. She's playing a semantics game.
Because Melody did acknowledge.
What she does.
No, I think there's misrepresenting the relationship. I think Miss Nell misrepresented the relationship and used the validation and used the advice that she gave her to put this narrative that Melody is equally as draining as Martel. And I think for a survivor of abuse, I think that was extremely insulting to Melody, which is why Miss Nell got the reaction she did.
Yeah, because listen, like I was trying to say before, they do have a relationship. They do have a friendship. And Melody was clear that she was a listening ear for me. She listened to me during that time. But is that word of mentorship, like Damien was saying, that's what's getting lost there, and Eric was saying it as well. But come on. I think that when we're looking at Melody, we're watching this reunion, and the bros on Bro Chat are watching it, and people looking in. We know that there are members on that stage, members of the cast that knew about the revenge porn content that withheld it from Melody and pretended as if they did not know. So I think Melody it's very clear and it's very justified to be tapped out, disconnected from this group. And I would even say this show with her departure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And I think the show's going to suffer a loss without her being there. So, but I understand why she left, because we all have limitations and boundaries of how much we can take. And now that it's getting into a legal case, I think I understand why it's not a good environment for her.
And I know there's a lot
of...
So you think that Melody will return?
Yeah. I'm not saying next season she'll be back, but I think give it some time. She'll be back. If the show's still around, we'll see.
Yeah. So I know that Eric was saying about being exhausted about the Martel and Melody story, but I think there has to be a lot of acknowledgement with the fact that a lot of these cast members, they've benefited in a big way from Melody pain and issues and how that's been a centerpiece storyline throughout seasons. They've all benefited, and it's the reason why there's a show to join. And the fact that Melody has left the show, and I have not seen.
I think that's so discrediting to the rest of the cast.
Let me say this last part. I have not seen anyone thank Melody for her contribution on this show. I haven't seen anyone do that. What I've seen instead is people like Destiny or people like others really lock and load it in her direction on really trying to nail her for things that I just don't think are fair.
What should they thank her for?
I think they should thank.
For making this, pitching the show.
Yeah, it was her concept.
Well, it's called.
So
I don't like to say that.
There'd be no show without Melody if she.
That's true.
Melody created
the
show.
Her and Martell had a home improvement idea. That to me is not Love and Marriage Huntsville. Would there be a Love and Marriage Huntsville without Melody? No, there would not be. But to me, I feel like it's discrediting to Carlos when we say Melody created the show. That's just my opinion because
or the producers, or the other cast members, or like.
But I think it discredits Melody to not acknowledge the fact that she brought the initial idea for something.
The thing is, what I realize I don't like discussing this show is because I feel like people go so hard for Melody, they put blinders on, so that when people are just critiquing her a little bit, it becomes this big thing. And I'm like, girl, I don't even hate her, but you guys make me hate her because there's such it's Melody.
Are you talking about me and Victor defending her?
No, I mean in general.
Oh.
In general, like I said, why I don't like speaking about it because it feels ridiculous. There's nobody in my world that you can critique on that I'm going to go that hard for. It's crazy to me. It don't make no sense. Mariah Carey, I take it back. Mariah Carey, I am going to jail for Mariah Carey. Everybody else, no. But for Melody, yes, she did create the show. If she is such the star, they could have just done a show like they've done with other couples, the Melody and Martell show. So to say that she's the only reason, she is a big factor, without a doubt. But everybody played games. Everybody played into that. There could have been other storylines, but you don't think that they were suffocated by this storyline specifically? You know what I mean? You can't discredit everybody's work and just say, Melody, Melody, Melody. That I don't like because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me.
But at the same time, I think what Mitch is saying is Melody, as someone who has been such a big part of the show, as someone who did come with that concept, should be given a bit more grace. And when we were literally seeing Destiny call Melody a groomer, everyone calling her out, Destiny bringing up all these unrelated stories.
I just have a problem with giving someone grace over another because they deserve it. That's weird.
To call someone a groomer and just attack someone, they have no respect for her. And especially as someone who was so pivotal in the success of the show, you don't see that respect. You see someone who's consistently attacked in the reunion. And I think that's what Mitch was trying to say.
No, I understand. I just don't feel that way. I don't see it that way. I see it as someone who had a really shitty thing be exposed on a very public platform.
I don't think anything.
But her marriage was exposed. Yeah. Like all of that was exposed on a platform.
We saw her being abused. Yeah.
This is why I don't like discussing Melody.
Why? It's because of what Victor just said. Like what? Victor
it's because there's no concept of trying to understand the other side, which is yes, she was abused. She also signed a contract to put it on television. So she was a part of it. She was a driving force.
Let me say.
Which means she knows people are going to talk about it. That's what I'm saying.
And you profited off of it.
As a victim of abuse myself, as people who I know who are abused, if it was that bad, I really don't think it should have been on TV.
Whoa. We can't say it wasn't that bad.
I know it's that bad.
We can't say it wasn't that bad. We can't say.
I think he's saying from like the perspective you're coming. Like
I'm trying. You're missing.
I missed that. What?
Because what I keep saying is I don't like talking about Melody because everybody, as soon as I say something, it gets flipped on me. Because I'm attacking Melody, and this is an example of it. The point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is
Melody. I never said that. I'm just saying there's a level of sensitivity when it comes to someone who's a victim of abuse.
I agree. I agree. I'm not disputing that, and I'm not going to dispute that. That's not the part I'm disputing.
What are you disputing?
I think. Wait, what?
What are you disputing based off what we're saying? Because you said right now.
I'm good. I don't really want to further that.
Okay.
Well, the thing about Bro Chat is the four of us, we're meant to come from four different worlds to discuss these topics. This is what makes it so interesting. I don't think anyone's closed off. I just think we have very strong points of view, and we're here to represent our point of view with conviction. So there are people in the comment section that really agree with Eric, or really agree with Damien, or really agree with what Victor is saying, and there are going to be spirit debates, not only here on Bro Chat, but also in the comment section. Well, everyone looking in, make sure that you like this video and let us know what you think about Melody and Miss Nell. We'll see you again next time on Bro Chat.